Good morning, everybody. Before we begin the Memorial Day Assembly today, we have a special guest. Remember how you all did some extra chores and activities to raise money for Coins for Cures? Remember what a great job you all did? Well, you should all be very proud of yourselves. And today, I think you remember that Alyssa Caruso came a few weeks ago, actually I guess a couple of months ago now, to announce the program. Well, she's here again today to say congratulations and tell us what a great job we did. Alyssa.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday.
Friday.
Well, I first wanted to say how appreciative Dr. Holden's hospital is for all of your efforts and how thankful our patients, doctors, and hospital staff are. Because truly, you guys worked so hard and you worked for the past 6 weeks fundraising and finding the pennies and finding the quarters under the couch cushions and in your cars, in your pockets, and everywhere. You guys are working so hard for the past 6 weeks, and you're our top fundraising school this year, and you guys did such an amazing job. So I don't know if you guys remember, but we had that 1 week during the program where the top fundraising costume during that 1 week was going to get a special prize. And I'm here to tell you that it's Mrs. McKenzie's class. They were the top fundraising class for the week, and they won the IMAX tickets. And I also have a couple things for you guys too, something to hang up on the walls of your schools to recognize all of your hard work. So this is from everyone at the hospital, just something that you can put on your walls. Just let everyone know that you guys were number one this year. And the last thing, which I think is probably the most exciting for everyone to see, this is from the hospital, and this is a big, big check of our appreciation saying thank you so much for all of your hard work and acknowledging the amount of money you guys raised. Our most needed areas, whether it's in care, whether it's in research, whether it's in our community outreach. So you guys are really helping the most needed areas of the program. So you did a great job. Thank you so much.
Again, you did a great job with Coins for Cures. It's nice to see everybody dressed in their Boston clothing and their Boston Strong clothing, as we also raise money to help all the people that were injured in the awful Patriots Day bombing that took place in Boston. So again, thank you for raising money for that also. You guys are a very caring group of children and should be very proud of yourselves. Now on to our Memorial Day Assembly. Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome all staff, students, the parents who have come and joined us today, and all of our honored guests to this Memorial Day Assembly. In a moment, I'm going to ask you all to stand, but I want to explain the way this is going to work today. First of all, you'll be standing silently through 3 things that are going to take place. First, the band is going to be playing the Star-Spangled Banner. Then the chorus, our 6th grade chorus, will be singing the Star-Spangled Banner. However, a few people from band have to join over there, so there might be a delay. And then Tim D'Ambrosia is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So during all that time, we are going to have to stand silently while this takes place. So now, if you all stand for the playing of our Stars of Liberty. There are some very special people in this country. They are men and women who are willing to give up their lives so that we can all be free. These brave soldiers who die on the battlefield are all somebody's mother or father or sister or brother or son or daughter. They die fighting countries who want to take away our freedom or have taken away the freedom of their own people, and we're trying to get that freedom back for them. These people, as I said, are very special people. Not everybody is willing to go into foreign countries and fight to help an idea like freedom remain in this country. So this weekend, as you are enjoying time with your family and friends, please take time to remember all of those men and women who have given up their lives so that we can all be free. Now we'd like to begin with a Poppy to Remember presented by members of the grade 3 class.
A Poppy is to Remember by Heather Patterson. Once there was a long and terrible war, a war some called the Great War. Many young men went off to fight, and many did not return home to their families. Still in the muddy fields where they fought, wild poppies sprang up glowing brightly. An army doctor wearied from tending the wounded rode home about that war and wrote those poppies. His poem was read far and wide. When the war finally ended on November 11, 1918, people everywhere celebrated the return to peace.
A Poppy to Remember was from far home, crossing troubled lands and threatening waters and dangerous skies.
It is for the wounded and those who cared for them. It is for the dead and those who carried on without them.
It is for the brave to remain in their memories of battle.
A poppy is for peace.
A poppy is to remember. Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. You shall not sleep, though the poppies grow in Flanders fields.
That was an excellent job. Thank you very much. And I loved all those poppies. They came out so nicely. Thank you. Next, we'd like to have the 6th grade chorus perform What the World Needs Now. Thank you, that was excellent. I think it's a sentiment that we all need to listen to these days. Our first speaker will be Representative Dan Winslow, our representative here at the State House in Boston.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Two of the most important functions in a free society are to defend ourselves and to be educated. And so that means that the most important jobs in a free society are the jobs of the soldier and the jobs of a teacher. I'm here to talk today about the job of soldiers. But before I go any further, I just want you to all join me in thanking your teachers for the job that they do. The American flag is a symbol of our country, Just want to pull it out here like this a bit. And the symbolism of the flag is very important. You know, we all have different symbols in a democracy. One of my favorite flags is the flag with the rattlesnake that says, "Don't tread on me." But this flag is different. This is the flag of our country. And the blue, well, you know what the stars stand for, right? Who knows what the stars stand for? Yes. The states. There's 50 states and there's 50 stars. And the blue field that the stars are on, that's a symbol under our state seal, our United States seal of justice. And the white stripes are the symbol of innocence and purity. Did you know that? Innocence and purity. And the red stripes on our flag are the symbol of courage and sacrifice. And today, I'm here to talk about the red stripes on the flag. We're talking about Memorial Day. Because if you take the red stripes off of that flag, all that's left, if you take sacrifice and courage and justice off of this flag, all that's left is a white flag. Does anybody know what the white flag symbolizes? An all-white flag? Yeah. Surrender. Surrender. If you take away justice and you take away courage and sacrifice, all that's left is the flag of surrender. And in our society, in our democracy, our freedom and everything that we love and everything that we stand for depends on the red stripes. And that signifies the sacrifice and the courage of the soldiers who have fought and many died for our country and for our freedom. So it's important to remember the sacrifice and the courage of our servicemen and women on Memorial Day, the people who've given their lives for our country, for our freedom, to never surrender. But I want you, from now on, every time you stand up to pledge allegiance to the flag, I want you to think about those red stripes, because that's what they mean. And I'm honored to be your state representative. I want you to make sure you tell your mom and dad that I was here today. But I'm honored to be your state representative because I work in the democratic process to take votes, to make laws, to carry out the will of the Constitution. But nothing that I do in a democracy, nothing that I do will ever matter, will ever count for anything without the red stripes and the flag. So I want you to remember that today, and on Monday, on Memorial Day, I want you to just pause and give some thought and thanks and remembrance to the men and women who've given their lives for our freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And our next speaker will be Mr. Ben McCarty, who's the commander of the Norfolk American Legion Post 335.
Good morning. Memorial Day is a time we remember those who have died to preserve our country's freedom. Since our country was formed in the American Revolution, and then on through World War II, where our armies conquered the most land ever by any army, and then did something totally unthinkable, gave it all back in the name of freedom and justice. And then on to our current war, which is our longest war in Iraq, where we've been there for 12 years. We have had over 1 million people die. Right now, we are here in your new school, named for both Alvin Freeman and for Adam Kennedy. Alvin Freeman served the community for the school committee for over 30 years. Now with Adam Kennedy, he didn't have the ability to live to be 30 years old. And is there anyone here that can tell me who Adam Kennedy was?
Sergeant.
He was a sergeant, yes. And he served our country in the Army. And he grew up in Norfolk, lived in Norfolk, went to school at the Freeman-Kennedy School.
He's a free man.
The free man, yes. He was what? Can't hear you?
He was in the Air Force.
In the Air Force. He was in However, what happened with Adam Kennedy was, unfortunately, he gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. On April 7, 2007, he was in Iraq, and he was in a Humvee, and a improvised explosive device blew up, basically a bomb, and he died. What made it more tragic, though, was April 7th, 2007, that year was Easter Sunday. So his parents and family were notified on Easter Sunday that their son had passed away. So that is who Adam Kennedy is. He rode bikes just like you in town, played sports, went to school, rode the school bus. And that is why we have the school named after him, because of his service and dedication to the country and what he stands for. He also has another memorial in town. It's at the corner of Grove Street and Union Street. When you go by there in the school bus or in the car, or if you're riding your bike or walking, stop and take a look at it. Think about him for a little bit and say thanks. There are also 17 of those memorials in town, scattered throughout. One also is at the corner of Bourbon and Rockwood Street, and it honors a veteran from World War I, where the symbol of the poppies first came. Flanders Field, and the poem and the poppies you have here came from that symbol. He was a young man in the Signal Corps. Signal Corps back then was the way they communicated, with telegraph, hand cranked radios, and flags that they would wave to other people that would read them and go long distances that way. He died in February 1918. The other thing with Flanders Field that may be interesting is that the poem is the only poem that is printed on currency in any country in the world. Canada has printed the poem on their $10 bill. So the poem is worldwide in its influence and impact for remembering. Also, probably shouldn't mention this, but I will since this is Boston Bruins country. The Montreal Canadiens hockey team, in their locker room, have parts of the poem in there for them to remember before the games, the sacrifice of the military and the Canadian Army and back as they go out onto the ice rink. So, worldwide impact on that poem, which the actual author, when he first wrote it, he didn't really think it was that good. The legend has it, and depending on who you talk to, whether it's confirmed or not, he said it was nice, and then he threw it away after he was done writing it, on waiting for a break. And then someone else picked it up and thought it was good, and then it spread throughout Europe and the world. Other ways you can remember the sacrifices in the next week and throughout the year: visit memorials or cemeteries, decorate the graves with flags or flowers, say thanks to any veterans and families of veterans that you know, and simply think about these service members and their families briefly at any time, such as when you're at Little League baseball games, Girl Scouts, at the beach, and say thanks in your thoughts. Also at 3 o'clock on Memorial Day, there is the National Moment of Remembrance, set up in 1996 by a woman named Carmela Espada, who was concerned that the memory, the true meaning of Memorial Day was being lost. Once she asked a group of people what Memorial Day meant to them, and she was told it meant that's when the pool's open. So just one individual has said, well, we need to do something about that, and slowly got this to spread throughout the nation. So at 3 o'clock on Memorial Day, wherever you are, you stop for a minute and think about it, what it means. have your parents, your brothers, your sisters, grandparents, anyone with you, ask if they want to join in. It can be done if you're driving anywhere, if you're at the beach, at your home, wherever. And remember our heroes, Sergeant Kennedy, Petty Officer Morgan, and all the others who died for our country and freedom. Finally, you have an opportunity coming up on May 30th through June 3rd in the town of Medway. There's going to be the moving Vietnam Wall is coming to the area. For those who are not familiar with this, it's a half-scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C. It was created in 1984 by veterans that were there and said, we need to be able to bring this to the people that can't come to Washington so they can see it, so they can see the sacrifices and recognize those who have gave some by serving their country, and then recognize those that gave all in dying for their country and our freedom and justice. So this will be available at the Medway DFW in Holliston Street in Medway, starting on Thursday, May 3rd at 6 p.m. and it goes through June 3rd at noon. It's traveled the country all over, and it will still continue to travel. But the beauty of this is that while you're here, while it's here, it's open 24 hours a day. People are free to come in at no charge to go in there, look at the names, pay their respects, and remember the sacrifices. So throughout the year, remember Memorial Day and the sacrifices of our country. Thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll have some sixth graders reciting the Gettysburg Address.
407 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated cannot endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war.
We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this.
But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here, have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will not know, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us the living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work, which they who fought here have thus far so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us.
That from these honored dead, we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion, that we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new earth and freedom. And that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Thank you, very nicely done. They also will be reciting the Gettysburg Address on Memorial Day down at the town cemetery. Now the Advanced Band will be playing Jupiter. We will end our program this year, as we do all years, with the playing of taps. Most people don't know this, but there are actually words to the song taps. Over time, they've gone from some, I would call it old English way of lyrics, of writing lyrics, to in the 1940s where they came up to a more modern version of the song. The words of the song are this: fading light, falling night, trumpet call as the sun sinks in fright. Sleep in peace, comrades dear, God is near. Taps is played at the end of military funerals. Now it will be played by Jade Fourcre and Stephanie Mollar. Remember that you do not applaud taps. At the conclusion of taps, please remain seated and silent until your teachers lead you back to your classrooms. And as you walk back to your classroom silently, reflect upon all those men and women who are giving their lives so that you can be free.